Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of my video. If you haven't seen part 1, go down to my channel below. And yeah, so let's just get back into it. So yeah, after we came from Planned Parenthood, we scheduled my abortion for the latest date that I could get it for. And that was Saturday, and I was having a hard time for myself. Like, I'm not saying that abortion is wrong. Like, every woman have the choice and the right to make that choice. But for me, I never wanted to have one. I've always wanted to have kids. I've never wanted to kill my own child because I believe that, you know, that's my baby, that's my child. And I don't ever want to harm my kids. So I was having a hard time with it because I didn't want to have an abortion. I never wanted to say, yeah, I've had an abortion before or whatever. You know, later on in life, if anything comes to that or whatever, I'm fine with. But at that moment and at that time and my mindset, how I was, I didn't want to have an abortion. So I used to, like, every night I'd like rub my stomach. So like that night when we came from Planned Parenthood, I rubbed my stomach and I would just be like, baby, like I would rub it and talk to them. I'd be like, baby, I know that, you know, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so glad that I'm having you, but it's not your time. And honestly, I used to like kind of pray for like a miscarriage. Like, I just wanted a miscarriage. If it was a miscarriage, then it was a miscarriage, you know. But honestly, when I think about it now, I probably would have never had an abortion. I wouldn't be able to go through it. And I knew that in my head from the get-go, honestly. And I just felt like having a miscarriage would have been better because it's nothing I did. It would be nothing like I did purposely. It just happened. So anyway, we got an ultrasound picture, and I was just staring at it and stuff. And on Sunday he came, and I was still smoking cigarettes and stuff like that because I was just like, you know, it is what it is. I don't really, I can't have this baby at this moment. And I was just thinking, like, were there any signs that I was pregnant? And so when I looked back, I was like, oh yes, my mom's potato salad. It didn't make anyone else sick, but it made me sick. And then John was like, oh, don't forget about the blueberry muffins. So before we found out I was pregnant, I was at his house and he was making blueberry muffins. He loves Jif's blueberry muffins, and he was making it. And while he was making the dough or like whatever, he was mixing it up, it smelled so bad. It was like spoiled milk and like rotten eggs together. And I was just like, oh my god, it stinks. Like, what is that? And I'm like, dude, that stinks. I've never had Jif blueberry muffin before, so I'm like, ew, you like this? Oh, this is nasty. Like, I don't want to touch it. And while we were looking back, I was like, oh, it's probably because I was pregnant. Like, that's probably why. So we were just looking back at it or whatever, and I really changed because knowing that I was pregnant then, and we just came from Camp Integrity, and with the whole open relationship and me sleeping with the guy Simon and having a threesome with the guy. I was really looking at Simon though, but it was in the beginning of the summer, so obviously it wasn't his baby. But the fact that I slept with other people besides John and I ended up pregnant, it was obviously him because I was only 3 weeks pregnant. So I stopped sleeping with anybody else like the first month of that camp. So it was definitely his. And so, like, I know it was his or whatever, but the thought, like a sliver of like, it could have, it could have been someone else's, gave me such anxiety, and it kind of like snapped me back. Like, it was just like, this is a good guy. I want to marry him. I love him. I want to be faithful. I don't want to have anybody else's kid but his. And it really hit me home like that. And my sister said something to me, and it was she was just saying something. She was like, God gives babies on purpose for the right time or whatever. Even though you don't think that it's doing something, it's for the right time. And I thought that was so true, because I was wilding out. I was crazy. I was trying to figure out if I really love him, or can I stay faithful. I was fighting with my inner demons, everything like that. And this baby came, and it was just like, it like slapped me back into reality. It was like, I never want to have that guessing game. Oh, is it John's? Is it not John's? I don't want to have a baby daddy. I didn't want to have someone that I didn't love have my kid. Like, that was not. And like, going from, now that that if you guys watched all my videos, that I wanted to be a teen mom. I wanted to go and have kids, and I didn't care who the dad was. From coming from that to having a guy that loves me and cares for me and everything, and me treating him like shit and not knowing what to do, it like really just put everything in perspective. And I was so grateful. So I really thought really long and hard about that on Sunday. Monday, I had to report back to jury duty. When I woke up the Monday morning, I went to the bathroom and I wiped, and I saw the faintest little thing of blood. And I was like, oh, thank you, baby. Like, I was like, thank you. I remember saying, thank you, baby. I know I love you and everything, but thank you. Like it wasn't my time. It couldn't come. And that little faint of blood turned into like a bloodbath, like in like a couple hours. So I literally went to jury duty, and I went to jury duty that morning, and I was fine or whatever. And then we had a lunch break at like 11:30, and I called my sister, or my other sister, the one that, I was like fooling around with guys on, that she knew or whatever. So I met with I talked to that sister, and I was like, hey, I'm having a miscarriage, and I don't know if I should go to the hospital. First it started off really light, but now it's getting like a lot of blood, and I don't know if I should stick a tampon in there, use a pad. Like, what do I do? Do I go to the hospital? I've never had a miscarriage before. And my sister, who has a baby, she was like, you should definitely go to the hospital, because you don't know if everything is going to excrete out, and you need to make sure that you're okay and everything like that. So I ended up going inside, and I told them, hey, I'm going to have to go to the hospital because I'm having a miscarriage right now. And they were like, okay, I'm going to call an ambulance for you, and we'll take you to the hospital right there. I was like, no, it's okay. And she's like, well, we're required to call an ambulance. So they called an ambulance. I called John. I said, hey, I'm going to the hospital because I'm having a miscarriage. I went to the hospital, and they told me I was having a potential miscarriage. It's like very vague. They're like, yes, we still see the baby, but there's no heartbeat, but you're still early. And yes, you're bleeding, but bleeding can happen in pregnancy, especially in early time pregnancy and things like that. And I'm like, dude, like, this is a lot of blood. Like, just tell me I'm having a miscarriage and that's it. But anyway, I was discharged from jury duty, and I ended up going back home. The ride home was so painful. Like, I was literally pushing out this baby. Like, it felt like my insides were like ripping out of me. Like, it was so painful. But they gave me a diaper or whatever. I ended up wearing that diaper all night. I was having so much pain. And then the next morning, I woke up and there was a big sack about this big that was in the diaper. And I really wanted to look and see the little fetus, but I was so like distraught or whatever. So I was just like, I can't. So I just took a picture. I was just like, let me just take a picture just to show Planned Parenthood, because I still have to go back for my follow-up or whatever. And that was pretty much it. So yeah, like that's the second part of that story. I hope you guys like this video. I know it's going to be a little bit longer than normal, but please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell button down below, and we'll chat. Peace.